Hello everyone.
Thanks for that excellent introduction, Lise. So together we're going to walk you through our 2019 report and recommendations and help you to understand how we arrived at what we did this time. Like last year though, this shouldn't come as a surprise, at least for those of you who are not very new Circle members, and because these recommendations are based on our extensive engagement with all Circle members over 2019. At the outset, we did wonder how the topic of policy coherence would unfold, but you had resoundingly told us at our inaugural meeting in December 2017 that there were issues with policy coherence in Scotland and that this affected women and girls, meaning that it was vital that we explored this. As we were focused on systemic change, we spent time working out our scope to ensure that we understood what we were working with and what we intended to do. So, without critiquing actual policies, we decided to look forward and explore what needed to be changed in the system to ensure that future policy making had better outcomes for women and girls. We listened to what you had to say at our Circle meetings, and this was extended digitally if you couldn't attend Circle or Satellite We Circle. We also listened to you at specific roundtable events and introduced new events designed for young people to have their voices heard. We have over 1,000 Circle members, and you had lots to say on this topic.
So over the year, a pattern of issues started to form, and developing this into the recommendations felt quite organic in the model that we'd developed last year of leadership, accountability and creating conditions. The ambition of our 2019 report and recommendations is to create a Scottish approach to gender coherence across all spheres of government, public services, the third sector and business. This approach to gender coherence would be intersectional, collaborative and kind. And there is a quote in the report from someone about the need to be kind. With highly effective and co-designed feedback loops and clear and sustained accountability mechanisms built in. There's an awful lot of big words in there, isn't there, for us to try to get our heads round. We believe that what we're proposing is stronger, more efficient and sustainable than a standalone gender equality strategy could ever be. And we would wholeheartedly welcome sectors wider than the public sector to develop work on how they can complement the ambitions within these recommendations.
So the first theme was leadership, and we wanted to create a culture of gender equality policy making in the Scottish Government. This is a major recommendation and one that we decided to break down into 3 parts to make sure that we captured everything. You told us that to integrate an intersectional gendered approach to policy making, the Scottish Government needed to scale up its mainstreaming work, and therefore to provide the necessary levers to lead the change required, we recommended the current Equality Unit to be scaled up to a standalone directorate. As well as you telling us about the issues, we also spent a lot of 2019 researching what actually goes into policy making. How is policy made, and what are the standards, capability and capacity of policymakers? We had help from the Scottish Government to do this, researched ourselves, and also commissioned an independent piece of work that looked into the whole policy landscape and how this all interacts to influence and develop policy. This report is available on the website if you're interested in the findings. We collectively felt that raising the status of the unit to a standalone directorate would not only resource it adequately to meet Scotland's ambitions on gender equality, but give it the leadership and accountability it needed to create the conditions that we are asking for.
Thank you. Moving on to 1.2 of this recommendation, to help the newly formed Equality Directorate support the organisation, we've called for a parallel programme on mainstreaming gender equality that would have centres of expertise created in all Scottish Government directorates on intersectional gender competence. We not only learned that mainstreaming could be improved upon, but that there were core and critical differing levels of understanding of intersectionality amongst officials, which often resulted in policy with unintended consequences detrimental to women and girls. We heard from you about the issue of policy officials changing roles and taking the